just over 2 months ago that they lost 6-1 to Tottenham. I think it was the start of October.
It was October, yeah, start of October.
Start of October they lost 6-1 to Tottenham, and then since then it's been crazy, the results. Hello and welcome to Off the Crossbar Podcast with myself, Regan, Walsh, and my co-presenter, Bradley Morris, for the final time in 2020. How are you today, Brad?
This year just be done with already, and we never have to speak about it ever again in our lives.
Well, fortunately for us, we've only got about 12, 13 hours left of 2020. So let's make it
if there's any saving grace this year, it's the creation of this podcast.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably been our highlight of the year. I mean,
speak for yourself.
Can't think of anything much else that's happened good this year. It's been a god awful year.
I'll get to my high point later in the show.
Let's not dwell on anything bad. Let's talk about football, because football always brings smiles to the faces of the supporters. And we've had a lot of games since we last recorded. We've obviously had the Boxing Day schedule, match day 16, and we've had games all week until today, day of recording, which is Thursday.
Just to say, we hyped it up so much this festive period. Boxing Day sort of delivered.
Yeah, Boxing Day delivered.
You look at the results from yesterday and the days before. Only one game had more than 2 goals in it.
Yeah.
The amount of 1-1s and 1-0s, it's just laughable.
It was from Sunday evening. That's when the games just went downhill.
But this is the standards, shocking.
Yes. So, like we said, we've had a lot of games, and the first game that kicked us off was Leicester versus Manchester United at the King Power Stadium. Both teams second and third in the league table. United took the early lead through Marcus Rashford after a great assist from Bruno Fernandes. Less than 10 minutes later, Harvey Barnes scored. In the second half, 10 minutes from time, Bruno Fernandes gave United the lead and what they thought would be the winner until an own goal from Axel Tuanzebe gave Leicester a point.
It went down as a Tuanzebe own goal in the end.
Yeah.
Ugh, poor bloke.
But
share the love, Axel.
Not bad result for Leicester. United obviously will be a little bit annoyed with that. Obviously,
a bit more annoyed at that considering the other results and the chances you have to go top.
They were more clear cut for United, you would say, to try and score, and obviously you would think once that Fernandes goal had gone in, you'd expect a normal United, well, I don't know what a normal United side is, but there to be a bit more resolute in defence and not concede a goal in the way that they did in the end. Point obviously left them both in the respective positions before heading into the week's games. So Leicester then played on Monday.
I lost count of the days this week.
Yeah, they played on Monday against Crystal Palace again. This time it was a draw, 1-1 this time round. Wilfried Zaha scored just before the hour mark for them, Palace, and then 7 minutes from time, Harvey Barnes again getting on the score sheet for Leicester, bringing them level. So that's big drop of points for Brendan Rodgers' side. Man United, on the main hand, they played on Tuesday evening and they managed to scrape by Wolverhampton Wanderers with a 93rd minute winner thanks to Marcus Rashford. We'll talk
about Fergie time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Because also what I was reading, I did miss this game for some. But
yeah.
They found 5 minutes out of added time out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's one of them ones where added time in football, I never know where it comes from.
Was Fergie in the stands then, just tapping his wrist?
He was actually in the stands for that game.
But he's had a word with the fourth. He's thrown something from the stands and he's gone. have the watch.
Yes, it was a nice early birthday present for him, as it is his birthday day of recording. But that late winner for Rashford sees them leapfrog Leicester into second, having played a game less than the Foxes. Not bad week for Manchester United, getting 4 points, but obviously they would have preferred to have had the 6, so there would have been a point behind Liverpool heading into this weekend's fixtures. But I don't think they will complain now,
Yeah,
looking at how the rest of the league went.
solid enough week that could have went so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's disturbing how much they're in a title race considering how their season started.
Yeah, it's crazy how it was only just over 2 months ago that they lost 6-1 to Tottenham. I think it was the start of October.
It was October, yeah, start of October.
Start of October they lost 6-1 to Tottenham, and then since then it's been crazy, the results. I mean, the only loss I think in the league was against Arsenal.
Wow, that's not 2020.
Yeah.
But that Arsenal loss now just looks shit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks more embarrassing for United considering what Arsenal then went on to do, but it doesn't really matter for United because obviously
it could be tough.
Yeah, if they didn't lose that game, obviously they'd be tough. But oh well, let's hope for brighter and better things for Manchester United. As we said, Leicester dropping points against Manchester United and then Crystal Palace at the start of this week. Obviously, we talked about the United game, but Palace, you really got to say that's a game they dominated, but just couldn't.
Because they made quite a few changes for that.
Yeah, I mean, they had Iheanacho starting up front. Then they had Chowdhury in midfield, Perez and Pryor. I think they all came in for the likes of Vardy and Tielemans and NDD. And I think that was clearly shown that they just, although they're decent replacements, they're not as good as the first usual 11 for Leicester, and they just couldn't take their chances.
Yeah, and I mean, credit for Palace as well. They needed a bounce back very badly.
Yeah. Talking of Palace, their match day 15, so the Boxing Day period, they got beat 3-0 by your Aston Villa, who played the majority of, or all of the second half, should I say, not the majority, all of the second half with 10 men after Tyrone Mings got a second ball offence. Goals from Bertrand Traore, Courtney House and Anwar El Ghazi gave Dean Smith's side the 3 points, which was very good considering.
Is this where I start waxing lyrical? Yeah, never been more positive about my team in the majority of my lifetime.
I mean, and then to get a point on Monday away at Stamford Bridge as well.
It's weird because I value the points against Palace more than that one.
Yeah,
like 10 men. Last season we couldn't beat teams that went down to 10 men, and now we're winning games with 10 men.
It is one of them. You like in the past, you would see Villa been players sent off, and they would have really struggled, and Palace would have usually demolished them. But credit to them to stay strong and resolute and manage to score 2 more goals in the game.
Yeah, it was surprising how open Palace did leave it for us to just keep attacking them, and Ollie Watkins just dictated the majority of it.
Yeah. Point against Chelsea, can't obviously complain against, and then
taking it at the start.
Yeah. So that result leaves Villa in 5th above Chelsea, having played 2 games less than them as well. So
creaked my neck looking at that table.
Things are definitely looking good for Villa for once up there.
I have to say, if we're talking on 2020, like the shitty year it's actually been one of the best years overall for Villa.
Yeah.
I'd love to know our record 2020.
I'm not even sure how I'd find that out at this quick, short notice. But
We got to a League Cup final. Stayed up in the league last day.
Just about. Maybe shouldn't have.
That's a podcast itself.
We've talked about that in the past, and
those who complain about that can't complain now because look at their team.
Well, yeah.
So, and we're fifth in the league.
Yeah. Things are, and you've managed to keep Jack Grealish so far. Summer business done in the window was decent.
We had the best goal in the league.
Yeah, you can't complain about 2020 at all.
Okay, maybe slightly so far, but he's top 3 at minimum.
Oh yeah, he's been an excellent signing for us. I'm definitely putting him in there in the conversation of one of the best goalkeepers in the league this season.
Yeah, he's in the Alisson conversation.
Oh,
I'd say for this season, he's way ahead of Ederson.
Yeah, I'm not even putting Ederson in the conversation. I'd say top 3 keepers this season have been Alisson, Martinez, and Mendy at Chelsea since he came in.
Touch on Mendy, but I thought he was very flaky against us.
Yeah, I mean,
and he was against Wolves a little bit. If you remember, weeks ago.
He started off really well. Of how I think we went like 5 or 6 games without conceding, and I think just no Chelsea fan or no fan had expected that, considering how often the other fella, Kepa, I completely forgot his name for a second. Then how often he was making mistakes. So maybe I think that's why that's making me think, he's had such a great season, or maybe it's just he didn't really have a test so far. And obviously the comparison was easy if you're keeping clean sheets compared to what the mistakes Kepa was making. It would be easy to say, he's been a top goalkeeper this season.
Yeah, just to throw one other name in the hat because of his performance yesterday. Do you think Carl Darlow gets close?
He's had a good year. I mean, his performance yesterday against Liverpool was phenomenal. He's the reason
Newcastle aren't lower than they are.
Yeah, because I mean they are in 14th, struggling to score somewhat, only scoring 17 so far in their 15 games, but he definitely pulled off some fantastic saves. Speaking of that game, managed to get a point at home against Liverpool, drawing 0-0. Liverpool dominated the game in all assets, but Cardallo, as we said, made some phenomenal saves to keep it level. And then Liverpool's Boxing Day weekend fixture, they drew with West Brom. So it's been a poor week for Jurgen Klopp's side.
Last season they'd have won both those games pretty comfortably and would be sailing away with the title race. So they deserve just as much criticism right now because they're not finishing teams.
Yeah. Comparing, like we said, the last season and even the season before, they would have absolutely hammered Newcastle and West Brom. Obviously, West Brom weren't in the Premier League last season. But you'd expect them to easily have buried them like 4-5-0. Same with Newcastle. Maybe not the same score line, but you would expect them to have buried them. And they just can't seem to score. Like, it's weird to say that because they've scored 37, which is a most in the league this season, but
is it a case that they're almost just struggling because they've been found out a little bit? Teams now just sit back a little bit and sit back a bit, counter them because they know Liverpool play this high line and you can go from a bit. That's what I thought I saw yesterday with Newcastle.
Yeah, maybe that is slowly starting to happen with Jurgen Klopp's side, that teams are starting to find out how you can actually play against it. It's took like 2-3 years of them dominating the league for teams to realise, this is how we play and how we can capitalise on it.
You know what it was? The start of October. That's when people realised, they're there to be got at. There is a way you can beat them.
Is that the 7-2 defeat of Aston Villa?
Yeah. Have a go at them.
That game, Wasn't it like 2 or 3 of the goals that were like just done on the counter attack by Villa, if I remember correctly, and then just like balls over, which put like Van Dijk and I can't think of the other centre half in that game.
The only ones I'm thinking of is it was the 2 in the first half. It was Watkins had one over the top for his second, and the others we just ran at their defence.
And that's where I think their defensive frailties have shown in recent weeks.
Put them under pressure as much as they would other teams.
They still remain top though, but as we said, they've played a game more than Manchester United.
Do we go on Newcastle? Because
I mean, good point for them, I guess. But Boxing Day obviously
it's a great point, and I think the Newcastle fans are a Steve Bruce apology.
Don't get too serious, because this weekend they'll end up fucking shipping 6 or 7 goals.
No, of course I'm joking. I back the Newcastle fans 100% in this. It's just the mass hysteria.
Yes.
I was saying this week, so wasn't he going to say mass hysteria?
Yeah.
And he said it after the Man City game, I think it was.
Or
Leeds. It was the mass hysteria is unjust. They expect too much.
Typical Steve Bruce.
For weeks.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the Premier League, over these past few games, Everton, who currently sit in 4th place, on Boxing Day weekend, they just about beat Sheffield United 1-0 thanks to a Gylfi Sigurdsson goal. I don't remember what happened in that game. It seemed that long ago. I mean, just having a quick look at the stats now, Sheffield United actually took the game to them.
I was going to say credit to Sheffield United. They looked like they gave it a go a little bit.
Yes. Oh yes, yeah, that was it. It was one of them where I'd say this has been the most threatening they've looked this season. Sheffield United, like they looked like they actually wanted to win the game, where other times this season they've struggled.
So I actually saw the matches that I pulled up. I think it's like 8 of the defeats have all been 1-0.
Yeah. And obviously on Tuesday they lost 1-0 to Burnley. So
they've not been great, but we slightly misjudged them, and actually they've maybe just been slightly unlucky. I mean, I've seen poor performances from them this season, but
yeah, I think what's making it worse, I mean, obviously, they've only got 2 points so far this season.
It is now officially the worst start in the history of the sport, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's overtaken the previous ones.
In English football, at least, as well.
Yeah, in the top
professional
4 divisions.
Yeah, professional.
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that they just can't score.
They spent how much was it on Brewster again?
About 20 million, I think. 18-20 million.
It's looking like they've been, yeah.
And then Sanderberg is...
their pants pulled down a bit with it.
Oh, massively. And Sanderberg isn't the same as he was when he first came into the team.
The whole squad hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
How amazing they were. They were where Villa are now.
Like, you two have just swapped places this year, this season.
Blame Hawkeye.
But yeah, I think Sheffield United, I think they're down. Everton didn't play in midweek because their game was postponed against Man City, I think 4 hours before kickoff due to a number of positive cases in the Manchester City team, but they've had since that game negative test Man City and have returned to training.
Cue the conspiracy theories. It is weird though, isn't it? Like, you can't look at that and go, oh, it's slightly weird.
Yeah, I mean,
the same thing happened with Fulham, and no one's going for them.
Yeah, but it will be played anyway. I mean, whenever it is.
We're still Villa are still waiting for their 2 games then to be played. So after the whole thing, and one of them is Man City.
Yeah. But yeah, Everton sitting in 4th in the table. They've played a game less than Leicester, same amount as Man United. It's one of them where it's been an up and down season because there was obviously the start of the season, the Everton started ridiculously well, and everyone's like, is this actually going to be the year Everton could challenge for the title? But then they went on a bit of a dip, and then everyone was like, oh, okay, this is back to the Everton of old. But now they're still thereabouts.
It's that close in the table that you go on a run and you'll be top 5.
Yeah, it's one of them. We only need to win 2-3 matches, and I think that's what's helped with this last few games, especially for Manchester United. Just back onto them for a second, and that's why they are second. It's because you're playing so many games so short amount of time, and other teams can slip up. With obviously Leicester only getting 2 points this week. Elsewhere in the league, Arsenal have started to turn somewhat of a corner. I mean,
So I nearly fainted. But what happened to Arsenal this week?
I know. I mean, they've been the butt of our jokes for the past month or so.
Have I gone back in time?
Ridiculous. I mean, on Boxing Day or that weekend, I don't know whether it was actually Boxing Day evening. Yeah, it was.
Admittedly, it was Chelsea. The one time that I think I wanted Arsenal to actually win a game of football.
So they beat Chelsea on Boxing Day 3-1. Goals from Lacazette, Granit Xhaka and Bukayo Saka, or as Martin Tyler called them, Laka, Xhaka and Saka.
Lacazette and Xhaka are scoring against it. You need help.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great free kick from Granit Xhaka.
I know. That's all he
which is, in 2020, is not something I thought I'd ever say. Tammy Abraham scored for the only goal for Chelsea.
Did it with his chest. Again, Gazer.
Timo Werner is really struggling in this Chelsea side.
Against Villa, when he came on, I was like, right, we're not losing this now.
Yeah.
That was when I went, right, go with them because they're not scoring now.
Yeah, I just...
Granted, they nearly did, but I wasn't worried when he came on.
Yeah, I mean, like we always say though, it's his first season in England, and I think everyone was just expecting too much considering how well he's done in the Bundesliga.
He's not even playing in his position, is he?
No, I mean, he's playing all over the place at the minute under Frank Lampard's side. But yeah, I think hopefully for Chelsea fans, not for the rest of the league, he will find some form in 2021, and he won't be seen as a waste of money. Back in Arsenal though, they won against Brighton. 1-0.
Big 6 points for them.
Yep. Again, Alexander Lacazette getting on the score sheet, so that's twice in the space of a few days. Lacazette scoring. I mean,
I don't think they're going down.
No.
I think they've just survived.
Yeah, I think it was fun while it lasted about talking them as possibly going down.
I mean, when we were saying it was never serious, was it? It was...
No. We all knew that Arsenal would find some form, and it's happened to come at the right time for Mikel Arteta's side. And
it wouldn't surprise me if they went on a run and they're suddenly top 5 by Easter.
I don't think top 5. I think top 10.
The way this season's gone, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, yeah. But good week
so by
for
Easter,
Arsenal.
we'll be saying, Arsenal title challenges.
Oh, God. Let's not say that. But yeah, going back to Chelsea, no, not Chelsea, sorry, Brighton. They dropped, obviously, they lost to Arsenal, and then they drew with West Ham on Boxing Day, or that Boxing Day weekend. Neil Maupay and Lewis Dunk scoring for them, and then Souček and Ben Johnson scoring for West Ham.
They could have won that one.
Yeah, I think that one was one they would definitely be wanting to. If they could play that again, they would be, and hopefully have taken the 3 points. For considering West Ham's season, I think a point is all okay for both sides.
West Ham are just slipping into mid-table now.
Yeah, they're just going to be there for the rest of the season. Other team that's not doing as well and are just there in the Premier League is Wolves. So they drew with Tottenham which completed the first set of fixtures on the 27th. They conceded within the first minute thanks to a Tanguy and Ndombele goal for Tottenham, but 4 minutes from time, Roman Saiz found an equaliser. I mean, Jose there just looked to part the bus after scoring that goal, and they tried to win that game 1-0.
Title challenger's my arse.
Yeah, I think we can definitely write Spurs off. I mean, that they've just looked poor recently, haven't they?
Yeah, we keep saying it every week. What was it I say?
I've completely forgotten what it is.
Oh, God's sake. Spurs will always do Spurs things until they stop being Spurs.
And they won't, because they are Spurs.
And I think I worded that wrong, actually. I've forgotten my own saying.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the Spurs will always bottle it until
Susie Den, don't come on
me. So they're 7th. Wolves are down in 12. Obviously, we spoke that they just about lost to Manchester United earlier on in this week on Tuesday. It's definitely apparent that they are missing Raul Jimenez. They're just not scoring goals.
I'd argue they've not been as good since Jota left as well.
Yeah. And them two have definitely left a massive hole in that Wolves squad.
Pedro Neto to try and fill the void. More like Podence and, Traore's not adding in the goals as well.
It's definitely a problem that they need sorting out soon. But they've been linked with a few players, most notably free agent Diego Costa. I don't see him coming back to the Premier League, though, to be honest. But
the Wolves don't deserve his shit.
No. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Southampton this week. What were they? I can't remember the Southampton games this week. They drew with West Ham on Tuesday, and then over the Boxing Day, they drew with Fulham. So Hassan Hootel's side sitting in 9th.
Slightly mixed. Because although I feel like we're doing Fulham a disservice slightly when we say, bad year drawing against Fulham, but they're doing all right now.
Yeah, they've turned the corner a bit, but it's not fully turned yet, and they're not as bad as they started the season off, when I think everyone was like, this is one of the worst teams who have ever played in the Premier League. But
they've got to turn some of those draws into wins.
Yeah. I mean, they're only 2 points off safety with a game in hand over Brighton, obviously, after the game yesterday against Tottenham was postponed. But it's starting to look all right for them. Ralph Hasenhüttl's side, again, they're not out of it because they're on the same amount of points as Villa.
I'd argue no one below or anyone above anyone top half, actually. Can go on a run and get top 4.
Yeah. I think this is by Christmas, or say the new year, this is, I think, one of the most open top 4 races we've had in years.
You could argue it's one of the most open seasons.
Yeah. There's apart from Sheffield United, I don't think there's any place cemented this season. Because I just, for me, unless they spend in January, Sheffield United, I don't see them getting out that relegation zone. But the rest of the league is anyone's guess, trying to predict where any side will finish. Leeds over this past week, they beat Burnley 1-0. Patrick Bamford scored a penalty after 5 minutes for Marcelo Bielsa's side. They were just took their chance with the penalty. I'd say Burnley will be disappointed that they didn't get something from that game. They played quite well.
What, they were robbed?
I can't even remember what the penalty incident was.
It's actually, it wasn't Ashley Barnes. Ben Mee. It was a free kick that came over. Ben Mee got destroyed by the goalkeeper, and it was given as a Leeds free kick.
Offside, or for a free kick.
It was given a Leeds free kick when the keeper was destroyed.
Clattered into him, yeah.
I can't take it because the referee blew. But it was like the one similar with us last season with Kevin Friend at Palace.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then on Tuesday, Leeds put 5 past Sam Allardyce's West Brom. Ryan Sawyer scored the first
He
goal.
scored all right.
An own goal, and then goals from Ercan Alioski, Jack Harrison, Rodrigo Moreno, and Rafinha sealed the points for Bielsa's side. Good result for them.
Most Leeds thing ever, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've conceded 30 and scored 30 this season.
I mean, some will accept it, but some won't. And shit. But just knocked me headphones out.
Yeah, I'd say the main thing is just trying to find that bit of consistency now for Leeds. Is they've got to stop conceding as many, because they're capable of scoring goals, but it's just, they're always going to concede as well, which is a damning thing for them if they want to be consistent.
Yeah. They're not. I don't think they're going down. That said, they're not going down. But it's if they want to aim higher, they've got to be more defensively stable.
Yeah,
They've got to find the balance now, because it just seems
100%.
they don't have the balance as much against the quality teams.
Yeah. Good week for them. The only thing I want to talk about is else about them was that tweet that they were saying about after Karen Carney, what she said, which I understand what her point was though, because in previous seasons,
I get it, but
Leeds tend to falter away and have crumbled in the past, which everyone knows is true. You can't deny that. But and she's saying like that bit of time off has allowed them to regather themselves and go again. Yes, they won the league by 10 points, and you can't take nothing off them. But would they have done that with, like, if it was a normal season? And that's the point she was getting at. And again, we don't know what would have happened, whether Leeds would have won it as convincingly as they did in the end. But I think the slander, and I think the fact that just Leeds went on that or posted that tweet out, I think was just unnecessary.
But I'm more for admins being hilarious, and if a pundit says something that does come across as pretty bad, they're gonna defend it. They didn't at Karen Carney herself, which was the point of it, but they went. We haven't experienced it. Maybe we will one day. But they were just going to lump on it mainly for sexist views, I guess.
Yeah.
It was misjudged, wasn't it? That's
Yeah. And then the responses they got just because she's a female pundit, like, people forget Karen Carney has had an excellent career as a player, so she knows what she's talking about when it comes to football. It's not like she's just someone that's just randomly come off the streets and doesn't know anything about football. And
she's from
Amazon's for she's from Uppsala way. It's not like she's just been thrown in football the last minute by Amazon Sport because she was the first person they saw in the street. I mean, she played football for 19 years professionally, and represented England over 140 times. So I'll give her more credit than your average Joe to speak on what she wants to speak on. Whether you agree with it is a completely different thing. Like, I don't agree with everything every pundit says.
When I saw it, I thought it's not the best thing to judge them on. But if I'm coming from Leeds' point of view, I would be a bit annoyed by it as well. But that clip is slightly taken out of the wider context, I think.
Yeah, 100%. But for me, there are. I don't know why.
She wasn't wrong in what she said, but then again, I didn't completely agree with it either. Like, sometimes pundits do seem to get caught out in like the stereotype perception of certain teams when they need to sometimes look for themselves and watch what goes on.
Yeah.
No, she's not the first, so she isn't going to be the last.
No. That's all the league talked about now. Elsewhere in the world of football, PSG confirmed that they sacked manager Thomas Tuchel. That was despite the team winning 4-0 on Christmas Eve or the 23rd of December. It took them close to a week to announce the sacking. I don't know why it took them so long. Former
Merry
Tottenham
Christmas,
manager,
Thomas.
yes. Former Tottenham manager Mauricio Pochettino is set to take over as the time of recording. He hasn't officially, though I think everyone knows he's going to take over.
You've got the article on standby.
Yes. Everything's on standby, you're just waiting to confirm it, which they'll more than likely do in the new year.
Although, I don't know if I'd agree with sacking Tuchel.
Yeah, because I mean, he's got half a year left. He had half a year left on his contract anyway, so he was, and I don't think they were going to extend it. They're third in the league, a point behind Lyon and Lille. They advanced to the last 16 of the Champions League, where they'll be facing Barcelona. So
was they just preparing for the inevitable?
I think it was just mainly his annoyance, Tuchel's annoyance with like the transfer stuff, because I know there was a lot of time I did see something where he would play Marquinhos and out of position in like a midfield and play what was that midfielder they signed from Porto in this past summer?
Wasn't it Danilo?
Yeah, Danilo. He instead of him playing in midfield, he'd be playing in central defence. So I think there's some annoyance over like not getting the play he wanted.
They didn't replace Thiago Silva.
Yeah, I think that was one of the main things. But
I mean, if there's anyone we should be feeling for, it's Kylian Mbappe.
Why?
There's no way Neymar stays at PSG.
Do you not think so?
I know if all the rumours are that Barca are going to go all out on him again, just to keep Messi happy.
Yeah, but can they afford to?
Well, we don't know until it happens.
Yeah,
there's a chance Kylian Mbappe is going from Neymar and Di Maria to Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, it's a massive downgrade.
That's not a slight on Ali and Eriksen.
Be interesting to see how Pochettino does when he takes over. He obviously used to play for PSG in the early 2000s, so it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on. Diego Costa, a free agent, is allowed, as we spoke about, we've been linked with Wolves. He and Atletico Madrid came to an agreement to cancel his contract. Not surprised really with that. I think he wasn't getting the game time. He has had a few injuries this season, and then João Felix and Luis Suarez both doing well. I think he was always going to find it hard.
There's no room up front for Atletico Madrid for two shithouses.
Yeah, even Diego Simeone can't control that.
Luis Suarez came with that squad like he was the bloke who came. You seen Captain Phillips?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the captain now. He said he
Look
just
at
gone
me,
to
I am the
Costa.
captain now.
Look at me, I am the shithouse now.
Brilliant. Right. On to Predictions League now. So.
Well, you've done this week. I'll let you take charge for a change.
Yeah. So based on the games we had over the 3 Boxing Day games and then the 3 since Leeds Man United, we were both wrong. We said 2-1. No, sorry, Leicester Man United. It wasn't Leeds. It was Leicester Man United. We were both wrong. We both said it would be 2-1. Finished as a draw. Well. Yep. Leeds Burnley. You predicted a 1-1 draw.
It technically was. I mean, it just was.
It wasn't. The scoreline doesn't say that. I predicted 3-0, so that gets me the 3 points.
Screw job.
Wolves Spurs. We both predicted Spurs win, but that didn't happen. Everton Man City was postponed due to COVID, so that's just cancelled it out. We're not saving that for our later predictions. Southampton West Ham. I predicted a 2-2 draw. You predicted Southampton to win 2-0. So I've got points there for it being a draw. And then Newcastle Leicester. Liverpool. Sorry, we were both dreadfully wrong.
Well, just hand my defeat in now, because
yeah, get the white flag because currently you're on 24 points.
I am now Sheffield United.
I'm on 44 points, so I'm running away with this. Right.
I'm gonna need a Villa-style Great Escape. Any sort of chance.
The first game I'm going to go with for this week is Tottenham versus Leeds Saturday afternoon.
2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like Tottenham would score and then sit back, let Leeds do their thing, and Leeds will score.
I'm going to go with 1-0 Tottenham.
See how you find mine ridiculous, but I find that mental.
Nah. Second game is going to be Brighton versus Wolves.
I'll go 1-1.
Brighton Wolves 1-1. I'm going to go 2-0 to Wolves. I just think this is the one where Wolves do show off a bit. Game 3, I've nearly forgotten how many I've done now. Newcastle versus Leicester on Sunday.
What stadium's he at?
St James's Park.
2-0 Leicester.
I'm going to go with 2-1 Leicester.
So nearly went draw.
Game 4 is Chelsea versus Man City.
When's this?
Sunday evening, 4:30.
Oh, it's the dreaded spot. It's 0-0.
I'm going to go with 2-2.
Yeah, because that game doesn't end in anything other than a draw.
Yeah. Fifth game is the start of the Sunday fixtures, Burnley Fulham, as it's quite close at the bottom. So I thought, let's get this one on.
That's tight. I go 1-0 Burnley.
I think this has got 0-0 written all over it for me. And then final game is the one that wraps up this weekend's fixtures. On Monday evening is Southampton versus Liverpool.
The A team versus the B team. It's weird because I feel like Southampton would turn up. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going to go with Liverpool to nick it 2-1, but it'll be late on in the game. So that is our 6 predictions for this week. Interesting to see if Brad can claw his way back into the predictions league, or will I extend it? Or will I extend it even further and run away with it? Right.
Do we preview now or just?
Yes. We'll give them a bit of a preview.
Even if it's just the one game, that obviously means more to us than anything right now.
Yep, and that is, of course, on Friday. Start the new year off. What a better way. You can't ask for anything better than Everton versus West Ham United at 5:30.
Yes.
Obviously, we're talking about Manchester United versus Villa. That is the second game on Friday evening at 8:00 on Sky Sports. I don't know why I had to look that up. It's obviously going to be on Sky. Man United win, and they can go level on points with Liverpool, though if they win 9-0. I don't know, it's unlikely. This season, you never know. They can go top of the table. Yes, 9-0, and they can go top of the table.
I would pretend that I never heard that.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't expect it to be that. Going to be a good game. I mean, I'm glad it's not predictions because I just don't like predicting Man United results.
That's why I
I
always
don't know
go
about
Man
you.
United.
I hate doing it. But for me, it's got the potential to be a
You're not
cracker.
worried
But
about a defeat.
I am. But like, I remember what Jack Grealish did the last time at Old Trafford. He had a great performance, but there's just something about this Man United team that's I've got a bit of confidence and a little something there, but at the same time, it's Man United, and I don't want to have that confidence. So it's going to be an interesting one to say. How do you look at it as a Villa fan?
It's one of the only times in history that we go to Old Trafford and I'm thinking, do you know what? We actually have a chance of winning. Like, United's run aside, there's still a team that's there to be got at.
Yeah.
Defensively, you are still as shoddy as anything, I believe.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
just
think
look
if
back at
we
the Leicester
we
game
manage,
last week. If you saw the mistake Maguire was making, the defensive frailties are still there for him.
and now you've got to deal with the most advanced striker in the league right now, Ollie Watkins.
Mm.
But
I don't
honestly,
know.
I don't feel as nervous. Well, I will be come tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I'll take the draw. So I'd absolutely take a draw, but I really do think a win is there. I had to take it.
Yeah.
Considering the
Would
form
you?
of, so I've just the form of what's the Grealish will be key.
Yeah.
Barkley will come back in possibly, although other players have been exceptional right there. I don't know who you take out.
Mm.
Like Bertrand Traore has been a class above the last few
Yeah.
games. And then you have Anwar Al Ghazi. Oh, sorry, not Anwar. Well, as John McGinn calls it, Anwar Al Ghazi.
That's nearly as bad as the Robert Lewandowski one.
Thank John McGinn for that, the Sweet Prince.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The thing is that I think a draw, obviously United will be very disappointed with. A win, they'd be over the moon, and everyone's going to be saying, "Oh, United actually title contenders now," and I think you have to take them seriously after this point. Though a defeat for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side, it will be bad. But again, as we said, the top half of this season is so close that one defeat is not really the end of it for them.
And it's 11 years, I believe, still since we last won at Old Trafford.
Jesus.
It was the Gabby Bonlaw header in 2009.
So technically 12 years by the time kickoff
Well,
rolls
no,
around.
It
Or
was
was it?
December. It was December 2009.
Oh, okay then.
It's still
So it's
technically 11 years.
literally just gone. It's literally just gone 11 years this month.
Yeah.
Okay. The other game, as we said on Friday, is Everton West Ham. That kicks off on BT Sport 1. I think this got pretty much draw written all over it. I think this one
I
does.
could see Everton scrape it.
You think so?
But I wouldn't be surprised for the draw, but I just think Everton maybe snatch it.
Then on Saturday, we've got 4 more fixtures. Tottenham face Leeds. As we spoke about in our predictions, it's one of them where, for me, I think Tottenham, it'd be a very scrappy game. I think Tottenham win it late on.
Scrappy game, and that's just on the bench.
Well, yeah.
So I want the cameras on Jose and Bielsa when they have shake hands.
Imagine, I'm just going to love Jose's Instagram posts after the game. As they have been class this year.
If it's not Jose just sat on a bucket during a training session, then this guy
that will be
missed opportunity.
Yeah. Then afterwards sees Crystal Palace, Sheffield United. Not the most entertaining games.
If Palace don't get something from that one, then there's issues.
Palace definitely have to win. Well, both teams have to win for me. Though if Sheffield United don't, I think Sheffield United lose this. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. See you soon.
Best time to play Palace right now.
Yeah, I think 100% it's the best time to play them. I'm not too sure what I expect to happen with the outcome of that one. Next up, we have Brighton versus Wolves. As we said in the prediction show, you've gone for a draw. I've gone for Wolves win. I think this will be a bit of a turning point, and Wolves start to look somewhat of a top 8 threat again, and possibly like challenge for that Europa League spot. And then the final game on Saturday sees West Brom take on Arsenal. 8 o'clock on BT Sport.
Suddenly West Brom's chances have slipped massively.
Yeah. Though knowing Arsenal, they've played well this past week, and this is the game they get embarrassed by West Brom.
I noticed this with Samuel Dotson. Albion will notice this so easily. He can get them motivated so easily for the big games against your top 6 sort of, your massive clubs, your Liverpools.
Yeah.
You can also put Bruce in the same conversation. But they play these teams lower down the table, and they just fall apart. You can't get them hyped up for it.
I feel like a lot of managers though can do that. Like I think it's just like
It's
an
all
actual
in
thing of
motivation.
you play. The difference between a decent manager and a great manager is how you can get your teams motivated for the lesser games, because like you said, against a top 6 team, everyone wants to put on a show.
When you look to the old style British manager, the big talking point with them is always how they motivate teams.
Yeah.
Rather than the tactics.
Oh, 100%. It's only the last 10, 15 years where tactics have become more a talking point in it than how you get your team motivated as a manager. I think this has got a draw on it,
See, now I still think Arsenal would. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal battered them.
Then we've obviously got all the Sunday games, 3, which are in our predictions. Burnley, Fulham. This has either got a good game and be a very end-to-end game, but for me, I don't see that happening. I think this is just one of them. It's the start of Sunday. Everyone's still hungover from New Day and leave, and that's why it's on early on Sunday, because no one's going to remember it, and I don't see it being a classic. I think it's going to be an absolute ball fest.
Oh, so is this Fulham?
Burnley, Fulham.
Is this even going to go ahead?
Yes, as of time recording, there's no worries that the game's going to have to be cancelled or rescheduled.
We expect Man City Chelsea to go on.
Yeah.
But nothing to come out about Fulham.
No, as of this minute to recording, nothing has came out about the game being postponed or...
We don't know the severity of their situation.
No. Though it will be interesting. Well, it'd be annoying for us predictions-wise if it doesn't go ahead. Then it's Newcastle Leicester at St James's Park. It's got the potential to be one of the better games this weekend.
If Newcastle are as open as they were yesterday, then potentially. But I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I expect a more hard-fought game for Brendan Rodgers' side visiting. But it will be definitely, I think, one of the good games this weekend. And then to round off on Sunday is obviously Chelsea Man City. As far as I'm aware, obviously time recording, the game's still going ahead, though things could change between now and Sunday evening.
They could suddenly say they had 5 positive tests.
Oh yeah.
Conspiracy
Okay, here's a question for you. I know it's early and City have got games in hand, but are they City well and truly out of the title race if they lose this?
Yep.
Okay. And that's
if we're saying Tottenham and Chelsea are out, but you have to put them in the same category.
Okay. And on the reverse, there was talk.
Anyone lower than 5th, you can say is out of the title race. You can't say we're not. We're 2 games in hand.
Yeah, but City have also got 2 games in hand and are on the same points as you.
That I wasn't aware of.
Yes. Literally 5th down
if they
to
lose
9th.
this year, I don't think they get near.
Okay, I was about to
Even
say
with the
5th
games
down
in
to
hand, even
9th.
Liverpool would have to almost bottle job this.
Yeah. There's obviously talk about Frank Lampard's future because of their results this week, losing to Arsenal and drawing to Aston Villa, that he could potentially be out. Could this be the final nail in the coffin, do you think, if they lose this?
That depends on the scoreline, I think.
Mm.
Also, I don't think it's too soon either way.
Yeah, I think he lasts. If he is to get the sack this season, I think it'll be Easter or the end of the season. He'll go.
No, it'd be February.
You
At
think?
the latest. At the latest. It's Roman Abramovich.
Not sure.
You might even
name
do
that.
July. January. July.
July. What are you talking about? July? The whole pre-season will be starting then.
Not for him.
Yeah. German newspaper Bild were reporting that if Frank Lampard does lose his job, then Thomas Tuchel, formerly of PSG, and obviously now a free man, he could take over at the Bridge. For me, I don't see that working.
It just screams Villas-Boas Mark II, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's one of them where half a season and I think he'd be gone.
Not they wouldn't like how he does things.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it'd be right. And the final game to wrap up this weekend is Southampton versus Liverpool on Monday evening from St Mary's. It's usually, I feel like it's usually a decent game, that one, in the past, isn't it?
Yeah. It's more a win's needed more for Liverpool.
Yeah, especially if United beat Aston Villa on Friday. I think Liverpool 100% need the win more than what Ralph Hasenhüttl's side is. Though we don't know, though it's unlike, oh no, he won't be on the sideline, will he? Ralph Hasenhüttl, as he's having to isolate after a member of his household tested positive. Right, that's all the games looked at. Right, on to
we've been going for like half an hour. An hour.
Yeah. Just before we wrap up, we've got your segment of Did You See That?
Oh, he missed it! I do not believe what I've just seen! Very interesting! Oh! Something weird is going on. Shit! Did you see that?
There was I think it was when Arsenal were beating Chelsea. I was tempted to just send you just a clip of Jermaine Jonas going, something weird is happening.
So we both have one each this week. What was your one for this week?
I've got to put the story again. It's happened in non-league. I believe it was on the 28th of December.
That was Monday.
Yeah, if you're counting the days, crossed. But it was happening in a game between Oadby Town and Leicester Nirvana.
Great team names there for non-league.
I don't know any Nirvana songs to make a joke. Just the obvious one.
Maybe it smelled like Teen Spirit.
No, you can't just say it. You can't.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
So the game was abandoned in the 78th minute. You want to make any predictions of why that was?
I think I did actually see this story.
It did go around.
If this is the story I'm thinking of, is it the one where a dog ran onto the pitch and then the owner of the dog refused to take it off?
Sasha ran on the pitch. Referee abandoned it. I'm trying to read the rest of it. I think, yeah, what you said. Not the owners couldn't control it.
It's just
like he wasn't even there watching the game. He's walking past and he just wouldn't.
I just don't understand that at all. Why on earth would you? Yeah, I mean, if that isn't peak non-league football, then I don't know what is.
I say it's non-league football, but it's like centuries, very, very low non-league football.
It's still non-league football either way.
It's your one.
My story was I got sent this story the other day from my brother, actually, so I'll thank him for this. So in 2012, journalist Tiago Rec was the only supporter in the Santa Cruz home match against Gremio, and his team lost 4-1. A few years later, he got a job at his favourite club, and in 2018, he became the president of Santa Cruz. And on Friday, just gone, so Christmas Day, Santa Cruz won the state championship and made it into the Brazilian Cup for the first time in 107 years. And there's a picture to go with it, and it's an amazing photo. There's one of him in 2012 as the only fan in the game, and then the other photo is him in the exact in a seat in the stand with the trophy.
Wow.
Which, if that isn't an incredible story, then I don't know what is. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Right, before we finish, we'll have our Premier League Team of the Year.
This is going to cause issues.
Okay, so in goal, I've gone with Alisson.
I've gone Emiliano Martinez. No, I've gone Alisson.
I'm just doing it a basic 4-4-2 just because it's the easiest thing to do.
Considering what Martinez did with Arsenal, you could put him in there as contender.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has to be Alisson.
Right back, I've gone with little old Trent.
Yeah, he kind of had to be, didn't it?
Yeah. Centre backs is the most, well, the one centre back is the most controversial talking point between us. I've gone with Virgil van Dijk as the one and Harry Maguire as the other.
Josh, do you want to repeat that?
Harry Maguire. I mean,
Harry fucking Maguire.
What? I mean, he's had mistakes, but if you try, I've compared him to a lot of other defenders from last season and so far this season, and he's actually statistically one of the best defenders outside of Virgil van Dijk in the Premier League, and he's the only player to play every game this year. Like, he's played every minute of every game this year. He's played the most minutes in football in the world professionally. That's stats counted for. No one has played a minute more than him this year.
Give him a marathon medal then. He's not the best player at centre back this team of the year.
For me,
granted, I think it's very debatable who the second centre back is in the team of the year. There's a few options. I went with Conor Cody.
The thing, for me though, Cody had a great year last season, but I don't think he's lived up to it this season for Wolves, for me.
But you could say that with most centre backs.
Yeah, and that's why, for me, I think Maguire just gets it. It's close between him, Cody, and maybe Esri Konsa of Villa, who's had a good year, or the last few, but I think it's hard. Left back, I've gone with Andy Robertson.
Yep.
Midfield, so
this is going to cause issues.
On the left, I've gone with Sadio Mane.
No, you've been silly now. You can't put Mane in centre mid.
No, he's left mid, like left winger, left mid. I'm playing a 4-4-2.
Wow.
No, you're not playing centre mid.
I was going to say, like, Jesus Christ.
No, I keep it standard football. Well, okay, so my left mid is Sadio Mane.
That's why it sounded like what? So you left mid.
And then
who's your right mid again?
Yeah, Heung-min Son.
Does he play right mid?
Well, he's in this fucking team. He's playing right mid.
I mean, I can go with both. Right.
Yeah.
But now we'll go for your centre mids.
Centre mids, Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. For me,
Silly boy.
Fernandes walks into that team though.
Yeah, he's done it just enough for me.
Just.
So, do you want my three?
Come on then, who's your midfield three?
In the CDM, Jordan Henderson. Like, piss off by the easy in there.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, it's getting very violent. Because then Bruno Fernandes is in.
Okay.
And Jack Grealish has to be in there. I'm sorry, he does.
I think for me, it's a toss-up between De Bruyne and Fernandes. Not Fernandes, De Bruyne and Grealish.
I don't think Grealish has done enough this season. No, Grealish has done more than De Bruyne this season. If we went based on last season, yes, De Bruyne.
Yeah,
Grealish
I
has
think
done more just to add himself in that mix.
I think it's because it's not just De Bruyne that's been bought; it's been Man City that's been bought, and that's why I don't think of De Bruyne as much this season compared to what Grealish and Villa are doing. But
I think the
if
injuries
you
have let him
think
down
of,
slightly.
yeah, but yeah, I think it's very close between them two. And then who have you gone for your forward?
For
your forward, yeah.
Mo Salah.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Kane. Heung-min Son on the left.
Yeah, my forward two are Harry Kane and Mo Salah.
Mane's not in my team.
And then special mention to Marcus Rashford for carrying England, not just Manchester United, but carrying the whole country on his back this year.
Feed the kids.
Who would you say your manager was then?
I was going to ask. Let you go first.
I actually haven't. I couldn't think of one.
You couldn't think of one.
Who have you gone for?
Dean Smith.
For the whole of 2020.
Look at what we've done this year.
Just about stayed up wrongly.
So if Chris Wilder's getting talked about as a potential manager of the year, but last season, you have to put Dean Smith in the same sort of category.
Okay, fair enough.
The job he's done is fantastic, and he isn't getting the respect he deserves.
So he's your 2020 manager of the year?
In the job that he's done, yes, but I guess realistically it's Jurgen Klopp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to shit test this. That's all.
I'll allow you to have it. Don't know how he's
getting on my team.
Yeah, I don't know how he got the UEFA manager of the year though, Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I could see why.
Nope.
I know you don't, but I'd see it.
Compared to what Hansi Flick did.
I know.
Are you serious?
I know, but they'll look at first title with 30 years. They look at the honours more than the actual.
He won 5 trophies in his first.
I know. I get what you're saying, but I don't agree with you. But it's
whether it took you 30 years. It's not Jurgen Klopp's fault. It took Liverpool 30 years. He was only there for all 5 of them.
I know, but it was one of the best overall seasons of a team as well. Which goes, and they don't. That's what they look at. I know.
Ridiculous. Right. So that is all we have. We'll be back at the start of next week in the new year. Is this going out today?
No, it's going out for New Year's Day, just before your games. So.
I was about to say, so it'll be pointless saying we'll be back next year. I mean, for us it will be next year, but for the listeners it won't be, as it will be 2021 when they're listening to it. So saying we'll be back next year and making it sound like we won't be back until 2022.
Why?
Let's have a better 2021. We've got a lot to look forward to. We've got the Euros in England. Hopefully
standards are pretty
low to attend it.
Considering this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, anything will be better. Having fans in stadiums by the end of the season will make next season better.
But barring results of the game, a certain game tomorrow, I may have a special article in mind.
Ooh.
But a certain result would have to happen first before it.
I take it you mean Aston Villa winning?
Yeah, potentially. Potential. Do I say the title that I have in mind or just not?
No, don't tease us. Just leave us with that little thread that you've given us. Obviously,
it'll be one of life's great fixtures if you don't win.
So we'll be back next week when we'll review this weekend's games, and we'll also have an extra show out next week where as the January window opens on the 2nd, we will have a look forward in that show. It will just be based solely on transfers, So we will look at any of the rumours and any early deals that have happened or could happen. We've also done an article on what each Premier League club needs to do to strengthen. So head over to our website or check our tweets out. It's on there. And that is it. Hope you have a great new year. Until next week, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Brad.
Enjoy the rest of this shitty year.
Well, they won't because it will be past, but yes.
I'll just...
Goodbye.